Hey there, and welcome to this training series on color, which I love color. Hopefully, you checked out the examples I showed in the previous video. If you haven't checked those out, please go check those out before we jump into this. But for this example, I am going to show you how I created this animation that I call Angel. This is an animation I created a while back, and I posted on YouTube. And I got a lot of really good response from it. People wanted to know how I made this in After Effects. So I thought this would be a great example to show you guys how to create inside of After Effects. What's great about this example is it's using all of the principles we have talked about in the previous weeks. So there's line in there, which we obviously can see here. This is, the lines going on, circular lines, these triangle lines and these upside down lines. And there's also repetition going on. And the repetition is obviously seen right here with duplicated lines, one that's scaled larger than the other. There's also color going on, which we're going to talk about today, which you can see in this gradient from purple to blue, plus the color that's going on in the halo and these lines. And there's also texture going on, and the texture is a little bit different. It's a noise texture found in the lines. It's this smoky texture. What this is using the Saber plugin, which is a free plugin from Video Copilot. And in the plugin, it's got this built-in feature called, I believe, distortion, which the distortion feature can be used in different ways. And for this example, I used it as kind of like a noisy fog texture. So we're using everything we've learned so far, plus color, to create this example that I call Angel. So like previous weeks, I'm going to give you the project file to download this actual project that you're seeing now, but we're going to recreate this today, and it may not look exactly the same. It may look better, it may look worse. It's always interesting to find out how it's going to look, but that's the fun in this. So you're going to get both projects, this project plus the one we're going to do right now. So let's jump into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new composition, which we're going to make this 2048 by 1080, 24 frames a second, and we'll call this Angel 2. And that animation was actually longer. It was 20 seconds. So we'll make this one 20 seconds as well. There's our composition. These are the assets I used in the original Angel, but there's certain ones we can't use. So like I can't legally give you this fog. This is from another company called Lens Distortions, where I purchased a fog pack. But I've got a solution to that. So we'll start with the Angel, okay? So the Angel, all it is a photograph that I found in Creative Commons, as we've talked about, and I cut out the background. So this is just an Angel that I have cut out in Photoshop, cut the edges out. I think I actually used the magic selection tool to select the background. I'm not going to get into that. There's a million ways you can cut things out in Photoshop. You probably know how to do that. But yeah, the Angel is just a photograph. And we're going to add a new camera. We'll use a one node camera. Click OK. 35mm is fine. And we're going to back this camera up so that we can see. I'm just clicking the C tool, as we've done in previous weeks. And we're going to click P, select P on the keyboard, set a keyframe, and maybe push in on it like so. I think I'll start a little bit further back. The one thing I didn't want to show in this is the platform it's standing on, because when you see that platform, it gives, it kind of throws our perspective off, right? Because this is angled back. So I didn't want to see that. So I was careful to not show that, but I also want to show the feet as much as possible. So maybe that's not too bad right there. And based upon that, this zooms in too much. I don't want too much of a camera move. If it's just flying in really quick, it's just gonna, it's not as powerful when the camera's just like flying at you. Maybe pushing a little bit more. Hit the C key and we'll just pedestal up. So that's not bad for a camera move. Okay, cool. So what I used in the background was this image called Frosty Background, which I'll drop in here, make it 3D as well. I'm actually going to push it back in Z space. Doesn't have to be exact. That's probably too much actually. Let's push it back about 500 pixels. And I'm going to scale it up so it covers the entire, and this could be any image back here. I just liked this when I was playing around. I really liked how this looked. Okay, that looks pretty good. And the reason I am backing this image up, as you see if I scroll through this, I don't want them to look like they're the same image. I want some parallax to happen there. So I'm gonna actually push it back farther. Scale it up again. So now let's move through this. So now you can see the statue's more in the foreground. It's very subtle, but the background is not moving with the statue. Okay, so now let's make it, let's actually make a background. We'll do a layer new solid and make it the comp size, put it in the background. And I want to make this statue come from the dark, like you see here, and then get brighter, right? Like it's getting lit up. There's a few different ways you could do this. One way is to use a light, a 3D light, but we're going to do this a little differently this time. We're going to use a simple effect called levels, color correction, levels. And this is all going to be trial and error here, but let's just start. So the thing is I want, see already it's already looking interesting here. So this is without levels and then with, and I've crushed the blacks, which is this far left slider. And this middle slider is the gray values, right? And the far right is the whites or the highlights. So I'm just gonna mess with these a little bit. And that's pretty cool. I like that. So now to set a keyframe, we just click on this stopwatch. We just click on the stopwatch for the histogram and click U on our layer, and there's our keyframe. And we can come back, and I could reset it, and you can see it added a keyframe here, but that's way too bright, right? Even in the final frame, you can see it's still pretty dark. So this looks like it was lit outside during the day, which it was. It was a photograph from the daytime. So let's make it look a little more dark. And to do that, it's mostly going to be in the gray values here. Oh, I don't know. We'll come back and adjust as necessary, but maybe something right there. Be interesting. So it's dark and it gets lit up. Okay. Yeah, let's try that. Cool. So next, let's get this kind of pink and blue color going on here on the statue, on the angel, okay? What I used to originally do that was a Red Giant plugin that I am going to skip, and I'm going to instead use the Sapphire plugin. So in the original version that you can download, you'll see that you're probably missing a Sapphire Universe plugin. I'm just going to plug the Universe plugins really quickly. I love the Universe plugins. I use these plugins all the time. For this Stylecraft membership, I'm trying to stay away from them so much so you guys don't have to invest more money. but you are going to get a discount code for Red Giant that I've mentioned in previous videos, and you're going to save 50% off of Universe. And I think that takes that down to the price of $50, and that's a 1-year subscription. 110% worth the money. So if you're willing to spend $50, when I give you this code coming up pretty soon, get Universe. Just to show you what plugin I originally used, I believe it's under Universe Generators, Gradient Ramp. And I just changed it from 2-color to 3-color, and then I started doing my thing. So we're not going to use that, like I said, today. We instead are going to use a one from Sapphire. And to do that, let's click in or type in Gradient, and we'll go into Sapphire, maybe Gradient Multi. Yeah, so Gradient Multi defaults to 3 colors, which is perfect. So the 3 colors are going to be pink-ish, and then we'll do blue-ish, and then we're going to do pink again. So I'll just do that right there. Okay, cool. So let me go back to the beginning here. And what I did was I set a keyframe for the point of 0.1 and 0.3. And 0.3 will start out here. And 0.1 will start out here. So essentially what this is doing is it's making it look like it's just all blue to begin with. And then we'll go to the end here, and we're going to bring it in. Give it some pink there. And some pink there. I need to adjust point of 0.2, which I'll put kind of here. Well, that's not going to work. Maybe something like this. I'm just experimenting here. I don't know. We'll have to see how this looks. So then what we need to do is we need to tell this gradient how to act with the angel. And we're going to do that by going to multiply. Yes, there we go. So big difference from gradient only to multiply. Boom. So there you go. So it starts kind of blue, very dark. What's really cool about this is you can just see the highlights here, which I might want to do a little bit more now with the levels, just so I can see, a little bit more of the highlights, and then boom, right there. I don't know, something like that's kind of cool. So it comes in just like so. Cool. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is start adding these lines, these saber lines, right? So to do that, we're just going to go to Layer, New, Solid. We're going to call this Triangle 01. So Saber requires a mask for it to work. So what I'm going to do is go up to my mask tools here, my shapes. I'm going to select Polygon tool, double click. There it is. I'm going to now select this point and this point. I'm going to hit delete. I'm going to select this point and double click. And then I'm going to hold down Command, and I'm going to drag these points out. Like so. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then I'm going to click all the points again, double click, and hold down Shift Command again to scale down. And I don't know, maybe do something like so. That'll work for now. So now that we've got a mask on there, I'm going to go back to my effects. I'm going to go down to Video Copilot, Saber. And like I said, this is a free plugin. I've linked to it in the description below the video. But we're going to go into Customize Core, Saber. We're going to change this to Layer Masks. And there we go. See, it recognizes the mask that was drawn on the solid. So pretty cool, pretty cool. One thing I might do is I'm going to go up to presets, and I don't remember what I selected. I like to go through these and just kind of find one that's, you know, interesting. That's really crazy. Maybe I'll go back to fire. Maybe I will use that. I don't know. Let's see how this looks. It's really crazy. I'm going to preview this really quickly. So there's our example with the fire. It's cool, but it's too crazy for me, right? So I am going to just go back to what I originally did, which I think I just did the default. And what I did here was I sampled the color from the blue, which I'm going to get off of this. Select, Command C to copy, go back into my triangle and paste. So I'm just going to go from blue all the way at the, somewhere probably in here actually at the end. And I'll go back to the pink, which select that, copy, and go into the triangle and paste. Right, so that's kind of cool. One thing you'll immediately see is that the triangle is not moving because it's not a 3D layer. So we'll make it move. And we need to scale it up. Let's see here. So that's cool. And we'll bring it down. And I also want it to offset just slightly from the angel and its movement. It's parallaxing. So the angel's at 0. The frosty background's at 2100. So maybe just something slight, like, I don't know, 500. Something like so. And let's see how it looks. That looks pretty cool. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do we're going to end offset it. So, because you saw the line draw on. So we'll start it at 0. And we're going to finish it at, well, maybe 90%. And also what I did here was I started the offset. Instead of at 0, I started it in a different spot, which may be right in there. Actually, I like how that looks. Start there, move across, boom, like so. Okay, cool. So that's interesting. What I did next is I duplicated this triangle layer. We'll call this triangle 2. And I took this original mask and I scaled it up just slightly, like so. And I can't see it because the triangle mask above it needs to be set to screen. There we go. And what I did on this triangle 2 is I actually reversed the color. So we will go into the color. We'll select both keyframes and we're going to right click and say keyframe assistant, time reverse keyframes. So they're going to look slightly different. Yeah, that's cool. And we're also going to set this screen, this bottom triangle to screen as well. Okay, works for me. And on triangle 2, we're also going to take this mask and we are going to duplicate the mask, double click, hold down shift, rotate. We're going to bring it down somewhere in here, like so. So that's cool. One thing we do need to do now is add that atmospheric texture, right? To these saber layers. And how I did that was I went into distortion and I turned up the glow distortion. You see that? It immediately pops on like that. It's set to smoke. There's fluid and there's energy as well. You can control the speed, the noise speed, all that. I think I cranked these way down, maybe 0.5, 0.5. Went into the first triangle and also did the same thing where I turned the glow distortion up slightly and turned it down to 0.5, 0.5. And I actually also added a little bit of flicker to these. So maybe 40% and maybe 30%. Now let's go ahead and turn this background image on. And obviously the problem with this background is it's way too bright, right? So we'll go into effect, color correction levels again. And let's just bring this way down. Yeah, because what I like about this image is that it has this noise, right? But it's not all over the place. So this is way more interesting to me. The first thing I see, though, I have a problem here, is that you can see Saber is cutting off here. And it looks like it's that one. It's also way too bright. So I'm going to scale this layer up. And then I'm going to double click the mask. Scale it down like so. And then I'm going to go back up into the glow intensity. Turn that way down. Maybe like 20%, 21. Well, let's turn the core size down to 1. That's cool. It's very thin lines. I like that though. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so another thing I did is I added a halo, and I did that by just doing the same thing. I added a new solid, I'll call it halo, and I'm actually going to create a circle mask with the ellipse tool, and I just faked the perspective on this guy. Doesn't have to be perfect. Set a keyframe there. Actually, I'll set a keyframe right there. Right there. Make this layer 3D. Make it bigger now. Go to the end. Actually, let me delete that. And I'll make this, we're gonna make it rise up like so. We need to make the layer appear. You saw the layer was cutting off there. So, well, something like that. Go to Effect, Video Copilot, Saber, and customize the core to a layer mask, right? And we need to turn this halo to screen as well. So right now it looks like it's moving, actually it's opposite, which I kind of actually like that. The halo is coming down onto her head. You can see here the top of the image again is cutting into the image. I'm going to drag that up. Oh, maybe like that. And then we'll bring it, the mask down just slightly like that. And on the original version, I actually did like an orange color up there, but I like this better. I actually like how these lines are also brighter, which is interesting. And so this makes the halo look like it's like literally lighting up her head, right? But you see up here, the top of her head is purple, the halo is blue. So we need to change the halo color back to this pinkish color. Yeah, it works a little bit better. That's cool. One thing I'm going to do right away is I'm going to add a new adjustment layer. And we are going to add some noise and grain. We'll add grain to this one. Final output. So with grain, without. Yeah, there's our grain. Very cool. Okay, I'm going to preview this. Okay, so I'm previewing here and it's looking cool, but there's some things about it I don't like. One of the things I don't like is that it takes too long for the angel to go from blue to pink. I also don't like how this line is crossing the halo. The halo is moving too slow, so I can't even tell it's coming down. So lots of little details I'm going to fix here. So actually, let's start with the halo. Click U on the keyboard. And one way to fix this is just to do a keyframe, easy ease in, go to my graph, and just stretch it out here. So if I was to solo this, you're going to see, look at a half res. So there it is moving. It's still too slow. Right at the beginning, you can see it kind of come down. So let's fix that. Let's actually make it start off maybe up here. Then it comes down. Yeah, something like that. And maybe make it come down even more like that. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is, like, I don't like the line that crosses over here. So that is in triangle 1 right there. So to fix that, I'm not going to have it start in here, right? So I'm going to go to the start offset and maybe have it start right there. Yeah, that works for me. That's cool. I also don't like, now that I look at the lines, I don't like how thin they are. They're a little bit too thin, especially this bigger one. So let's go back to core size and change it to like 1.2. How does that look? That's better. And then we're going to go back to the angel, hit U on the keyboard, and for the color, we're going to do an easy ease in as well. And maybe drag those down the timeline like this. Something like that. That's cool. Okay, so something else I want to do is I want to bring some fog in here to give it some more atmosphere. So what I found was right here under premiumbeat.com, they've got 21 free fog overlays for video editors and motion designers. I will link to this in the description. But you can go here, click right here, and you can download the free fog overlays. So I'll go back in After Effects and import them. So I've got them imported, and like I said, I can't give you these fog overlays for legal reasons because they're not mine. But you can click and download those fog overlays yourself. So let's just take a look here. Scale it down. Originally, I had it coming from the left side, so to do that really easily, it's just negative 58. So now it's coming left to right. So maybe this one will work. Let's see here. Let's also make it 3D. And now scale it up. And let's also bring it forward in Z space, so it's in front of the statue. And I've talked about this in videos, how to properly composite fog. For this example, I am just going to do a quick screen mode. So it sits over the top here. Also going to back the fog up so it doesn't start at 0. Maybe somewhere in here. And let's drop the opacity down. One other thing I want to do is I don't want the fog going over the entire image. I really don't like that. So I will draw a mask. Like so. Very rough. And close it. And then I'm going to feather that mask by just hitting F on the keyboard to bring up the mask feather tool and just dragging it out there. See how that looks. What I'm going to do here is I don't love the whiteness of the fog. So we're going to go into Effect, Color Correction, and Tritone. Effect, Color Correction, Tritone. And we're not going to apply that to the angel. Whoops. We're going to apply that to the fog. And for the color, let's make it that... oh, that's kind of interesting right there. Kind of like that purplish pink color. And just to see what it looks like, I'm going to turn off the mask really quickly. Yeah, that's way too much. Maybe something like this, even bring it down a little bit more, like so. Okay. And actually, let's bring it up like this. Well, no, it's not. I was thought about applying the fog to the top and the bottom, but closer here to the bottom is a little bit more interesting. Let's also go to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer, and let's add a vignette here, which is under Generate. Sorry, Stylize, CC Vignette. Let's crank the amount up. Oh, like so. Sometimes you can get some really interesting results with pen highlights, but this one's not so much. And then for the center position, I'm actually going to drag it up. So I just don't want to see the feet so much, right? Like this. But you know what would actually be really cool? If we started the center point lower down here, and then as the animation progresses, because these lights are coming on, the vignette moves upwards like this, like it's lighting up the area. Like so. Cool, let's take a look at this. Okay, so here I am previewing at half res. And again, immediately I see the fog moving here and I don't like it. It's way too quick because everything in this animation is moving at a slower pace. The camera's moving in slow. The lights are coming on slow. The lines are drawing on slower. The fog just throws it all off. So I need to slow down the fog or find something different for the fog. Which I'm thinking maybe I should find something different for the fog. Let's see here. What do we got? There's fog wisp. This could be kind of cool. Thick rolling. Actually, how about ground fog thick? Let's try that. And I'm just holding down Option and dragging to replace the footage in my timeline. So that's cool. It's a little bit bright. So if I'm at 100% brightness here, I could go into color correction level. Let's do curves. Let's do curves here. Kind of bring down some of that brightness. And let's see how quickly this fog is moving. So again, it's a little too quick. So the easy fix to this is just to stretch it out. So it's longer here. Maybe 300%. See how this looks. Yeah, I like the speed of that a lot better. Now, because this is ground fog, I want to look at something here because a lot of times ground fog doesn't go all the way up the full length of the, oh, this one does. Let's see here. Actually, I don't mind that so much. So what I'm going to do here is I like the fog overall. I don't like it as much on the top here. So here's a trick for you. Let's take this mask. Let's rotate it around so it's upside down. Okay. And let's take these points here, pull them down. And we're going to set these to subtract. Yeah, so we got just a high feather here. So we're going to turn up the feather even more. And take these. Maybe something like so. Maybe it should kind of come up around like this. And we'll turn down the opacity just a little bit. Trial and error here, trial and error. So it's just very subtle in there. Maybe it's too subtle. Turn it back up. Off, on, off, on. Yeah, that could work. So that's looking pretty cool. And the original version, I did not do this, but let's go into our favorite chromatic warp chroma and just see. Just curious how it looks on this one. That's really crazy. That's pretty cool. Now that's actually really cool. I like that a lot. Let me try and drag it below. This is the vignette. This is the chroma, and this is the grain. Yeah, now it almost has like kind of that, 80s vibe going on a little bit with the chroma at the default. So pretty cool stuff. Let me try one more thing here just to see, because we did talk about glints. Let's go back into lighting, glint. And we'll take that below the chroma. And we'll add a preset here. That's pretty cool right there. That's the default. That's really cool. I just love all the presets. They're such a great place to start. We used this one in a previous week. That's really cool. So I'm going to say accent there or this one, which I actually really like that one. So with, without, with, without, gives it a very ethereal feel with that on there, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm really digging that. It's just a little bit too much. So we will turn down the brightness just a tad here. Maybe just a little bit more there. Subtleties, right? Yeah, there we go. Awesome. And working with this, I need to turn it up to full res. There we go. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to preview this and check it out. Okay, so there it's going. It's looking really cool. Actually, once again, like this better than my original version. I don't like that line starting up here, how you saw that. I really love the halo coming down. I love the glint we added. Again, you can see the line starts off here. That's just a mistake. So I'll fix that. So it starts here, moves below there. In the original version, I also had a line that went over the top of the angel. So maybe I'll add that really quickly. But I really love the fog that's going on here. It's actually almost too slow, right? Or it's actually almost too dark. So maybe I'll brighten that up just a tad bit here. It's already 100%. Well, let's see. Let's subtract. Let's add some fog in right through here. Yeah, let's add that one in. Bring up the feather. Just a little bit like this. Yeah, that's cool. And then we've got to fix the line right there, which is it this one? Nope. It's triangle 1, which is right here. And it's doing that. Let's see, why is it doing that? I believe because of the offset, the start offset. Nope. So it must be the end offset if we just start it right there. And actually we'll start it at 11% right there. Okay, cool. So now there's nothing there. It'll come on. Might be cool actually to see it start a little bit into it. So it doesn't start right away. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I think I want to do is add this outer one here. Let's add this on top as well. So we'll duplicate this layer, drag it on top of the angel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the angel, take it on top of the triangle, take the triangle and say alpha matte to the angel. And if that is the case, well, you know what? It's because the position is too far back. So we'll zero out the position. Yeah, so see, it kind of gives it this offset look, which is really cool right through here. I don't like how it's going across her head though. It's so funny because you add things and then you're like, oh, why does it do it like that? Why does it have to do that? So to fix that, it's because the second mask is going across there. I'm just going to delete that mask. And that still doesn't work for me. How can we fix that? So that's how it ends up, which is too much for me. It's way too much. If we turn off this one, what happens here? Okay, if we delete this one, that's that guy. Not a fan of that. Okay, we'll delete this one. We will duplicate the other triangle instead and try it. Alpha matte, position it at 0. Wow, that's really bright. We'll turn down the core size to 1. maybe 1.2. And I still don't love that. Let me just try something different here. I don't like it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this mask, drag it down, see how that does. So what is the easy fix here? Let's go back into this triangle again that we had, duplicate it, bring it up here on top, set it to 0. Duplicate the angel again, set the triangle to alpha matte the angel. Let's take a look at this. So the thing that really bothers me about this one is the line that goes across here, right? So if there's some way we could eliminate that line and make it down here, it'd be a lot more, look more visually appealing to me. So maybe we adjust the start offsets. Let's just see what that would do. It was 66, but then there's nothing on there. Let's adjust the end offsets. So the main thing here is I just, at the very end when they're all drawn on, I don't want to see this up here. So how can we solve that? Well, here, okay, here's an easy fix. I'll go back to my angel layer here and I will cut out this part of the angel layer. And we'll do mask, subtract. And that does not work because it, as you can see there, it looks terrible. So you guys are seeing me at, you know, this is what it's all about, like figuring out how do I make it work? What can I do to make this work? You know what? I actually am okay without either one of them on top there. With it just being just like that. I'm cool with that. So that's what I'm going to go with. Sometimes it's, you know, better not to force things. And I was trying to force that one. It worked in the previous example. It did work. In this one, it did not work. So I'm cool with this. I actually like it a lot. It looks really great. Chromatic aberration added a lot to it, in my opinion, with the lights, with the stroke, the line, the halo. I love. It just looks really great overall. So that's it. That's this week for color. This is a longer video. It's a little bit more detailed. So I'm just sticking with one video this week. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, I really look forward to hearing what you guys think and what you learn and seeing what you guys come up with. So until next week, I'm Cameron, and this is Stylecraft. See ya.